Hi friends, so yesterday in writing we talked about conjunctions and how adding them to our sentences make us a better writer. We're going to dig in a little bit deeper to those sentences that make us a better writer, and we are going to talk about something called compound sentences. So you should have this worksheet printed out. And you can go ahead and put that to the side. And we're going to do a nice little PowerPoint again to refresh our memory on what sentences should look like and how we change them from simple, those sentences, to compound those great sentences. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you for our PowerPoint. And we're going to start by asking this question. What are subjects and predicates? Every sentence is going to have a subject and a predicate. Right now, you might be scratching your head and a little bit confused about what those two words mean. So let's look at examples of subjects and predicates. Ready? All right. So here is a nice, simple sentence. The giraffe eats leaves, okay? If you notice, the giraffe is red because the giraffe is the subject in the sentence. That's who or what the sentence is about. Now, if you look over here at eat leaves, that's an example of a predicate because it's telling us what the giraffe is doing. Okay, so every sentence is going to have a subject, which is who or what the sentence is about, and then a predicate. That's what the subject does or is. Okay, so like I said, the giraffe eats leaves. That's an example of a simple sentence. Yes, I would like that sentence if you are in first, second grade, but third graders make the sentences longer. You work on making them compound sentences, okay? So yesterday we talked about conjunctions. And right away when I say that word, you should be able to be yelling to me all those different conjunctions. If you need a refresher, you've got that page from yesterday. But if we remember, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, because, however, those are all what? Conjunctions, right? So, like we said yesterday, we can use conjunctions in our sentences to make them better. But read this with me. We can use a conjunction and a comma to join two simple sentences. And you may have noticed that yesterday, that some of the sentences yesterday when we were hunting for conjunctions, some of them were just simple sentences. Some of them were compound sentences. They had that comma in there, and most importantly, they had that conjunction. So let's look at a compound sentence. It is cold, comma, but, that's our what? Conjunction. It won't snow. So see how it is cold and it won't snow are two simple sentences. But we smashed those babies together. We added a comma. We added a conjunction. And now, voila, we call that a compound sentence. Okay? So, it is cold. It won't snow. The simple sentences could be sentences by themselves. But because they have a subject and predicate, right? But when we combine them together, does it make it sound a little bit better? Yeah. Compound sentences must have two simple subjects, a conjunction, and a comma. All right, are you ready to play a game? It is called compound or simple, okay? So I'm going to read you this sentence, and then you are going to either tell me compound or simple. She needs a new computer for work. What do you think? That is a simple sentence. And how do we know that it's a simple sentence? Well, it has one subject, she, right? And one predicate, needs a new computer for work. It also does not have a conjunction or a comma. All right, ready for the next one? Compound or simple? You tell me. I like to bake, but I don't like to clean the dishes afterwards. That sounds like me. All right, what do you think? Compound or simple? It is compound. How did you know? Well, it has a conjunction. It has a comma. It has two subjects and two predicates, right? Yes. All right, moving on. Now we're ready for the game. Make it a compound sentence. So here we have those two simple sentences. I like to rollerblade. I fall a lot. How can you smash those together to make it a compound sentence? All right, you should be out. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Think about where we might put that comma. Think about what conjunction we're going to use. If you need a minute to write it down, go for it. I'll give you about 30 more seconds. How can we combine that to make it a compound sentence? All right, are you ready? I like to rollerblade, comma, but I fall a lot. If you got that right, do the disco. Ready? Ooh, ooh. One more time. Ooh, ooh. All right, next one. How are you going to make this a compound sentence? I play the violin. I play the piano. What are we going to add? Two things, a comma and a conjunction. All right, take a minute, think about it. All right, are you ready? I play the violin, comma, and I play the piano. Did you get it right? All right, kiss your brain. Do the whoop whoop chair. Ooh, ooh. Are all sentences with commas going to be compound sentences? No, guys. N-O. I'm going to ask you again and you're going to tell me the answer. Are all sentences with commas going to be compound sentences? No. Here's an example of a sentence that has commas, but it is not a compound sentence. We bought cheese, milk, and eggs. Okay? Last question to ask you today. Are all sentences with conjunctions going to be compound sentences? Think about that and look down at the bottom. Here's an example. I also have homework to finish. Here's our conjunction. Is that a compound sentence? No. So every sentence that has a conjunction or a comma does not necessarily mean that it's compound. Okay, guys? All right. I am going to ask you to make sure that you have this paper, okay? We're going to work on this part together. And again, this is one where I would normally have you do it in a notebook where you'd cut it. If you want to do that, you can. Or if you want to just use the back of the paper, that is fine with me too, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm doing. And it always makes me do it 2 times. Thanks for being patient. All right, friends. So we have 2 pages today. We are going to do this page together, and then you will be working on this one by yourself, okay? So we have 3 sentences here, and they want us, sorry, what kind of sentences are these? They are simple sentences, right? And they want us to make them what? Compound, okay? So let's just refresh our memory. A simple sentence is a complete thought with a subject and a predicate. Remember, subject is who or what we're talking about. The predicate is explaining what the subject is doing, right? I pet the cat purred. Those are both simple sentences. But now we want to turn these 2 sentences into one amazing compound sentence that has 2 simple sentences put together with a comma and a conjunction. How could we combine these 2 sentences? And you know what? I think we can just add it right there. We don't even have to write it on the back. I pet the cat. After the first sentence, we always put that what? That comma. And then we need to add that conjunction. So I pet the cat. Here's my list of conjunctions. What do you think we could add? Go ahead and write it down. All right. You should have picked and. I pet the cat and the cat purred. Does that make sense? Yes. But guys, there is one thing we have to do. If we're not going to rewrite this sentence, there's one thing we have to edit. In a compound sentence, there is only one capital letter unless it's a proper noun, right? So we start our sentence with a capital letter, and I is a proper noun. But then look down here, the. Should the be capitalized if it's not at the beginning? No way, Jose. So we want to change that to a lowercase t. Okay, does that make sense? All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and look at our second one. School is canceled today. There is too much snow on the roads. All right, we've got 2 simple sentences. Our job is to combine them into a compound sentence. What's the first thing we have to add at the end of our first sentence? The comma. And then we want to add our what? Conjunction. What conjunction would you add here? School is canceled today, blank. There is too much snow on the roads. What do you think? Go ahead and write it down. All right, I'm hoping you picked because. If you did, raise the roof. Yes, you should have done because. All right, are we done with this sentence? No. What do we have to change? We have to change this capital T into what? A lowercase t. All right, last one we're going to do together. I don't like playing soccer. I like to play baseball. I am going to give you a minute. I'm not going to help you with anything. I want you to fix all 3 things that need to be fixed, just like we did on our first 2, and make this a compound sentence. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do it. All right, you should be finishing up making those two simple sentences into one compound. What's the first thing we have to do so that we can combine our sentences? We have to add that comma, right? We always add that comma after that first sentence. And then we've got to make sure we have our conjunction. What conjunction did you put in there? I don't like playing soccer, but I like to play baseball. Guys, I lied. There was only two things you had to do in this sentence because I by itself is always capitalized. So if you left that I alone and you just added your comma and your conjunction, celebrate right now. Good job. All right, moving on to what you are going to do by yourself today. So we've had a lot of review with the two different kinds of sentences, simple and compound. The directions want you to label each sentence as simple, which you can just put an S next to, or compound, you can put a C next to, okay? So you are doing all of these on your own. You are reading each sentence and deciding if it is either S for simple or C for compound. And you can just write it after each sentence. Okay, guys? So hopefully by the end of this, you will be simple and compound sentence experts. And once you are finished, you do not have a discussion post today, have mom and dad check that though, okay? All right, I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.